recently ran my first ever marathon in under 3 hours. I'm gonna show you exactly what I did, from training to nutrition to racing strategy, so you know exactly how to do it. If that sounds interesting, follow along and let's go! What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm so grateful for you guys to join me again. As I said, I ran a marathon in under 3 hours, which was a big goal for me to hit. I did it at my first attempt, so I want to give you some inside information to how I did it. First of all, if you want to train for a marathon, then volume is important. For me, I tried to schedule my week each week the same. I usually did 2 or 3 depending on where I was and how my body was feeling. Very easy, medium, long jogs. So those were around 8K to 14, 15K ish, where the goal was just to build volume. I always did 1 interval session each week, and this session was mainly aimed at trying to get those intervals above my lactate threshold. Those were speed sessions, interval sessions, where we would get the most speed from our workout. And lastly, I did 1 long run each week, or at least 1 long run. Sometimes I did a second one as well, but mostly my 1 long run was the longest run I did in the week, obviously. But I also incorporated some blocks, some interval blocks during those sessions, at which I tried to run for as long as I could at that time at my goal marathon pace. So under 3 hours, the goal was for me 4 minutes and 15 seconds per kilometer. This I had to endure for 42.2 kilometers when at the marathon, but I divided it into segments so I could input it in my training. In the beginning, I would do 2 blocks of 4K at my goal marathon pace, and that progressed all the way up to 4 blocks of 5 kilometers at my goal marathon pace. In between, I would bring the tempo down, but kept running. So the longest run I ever did before this marathon was 32 kilometers. Nutrition-wise, I changed absolutely nothing when running my marathon compared to how I was training. When I was training, I always tried to, at least especially for the long run, always try to bring as much gels and food with me as I could. The day of the marathon itself, I ate some bread and some jam, just because I know from previous events I did, that's easy to digest for me. It's something I'm used to eating. Whatever you do, don't change anything on the race day itself. The day of the marathon itself, I really tried to stick to the pace I needed to hit as most as possible. Whatever you do at your marathon, because it's a long event, you want to keep the pace as steady as possible. I did a video about this, which I will link in the pop-out here in the video. Do check that out if you want to know more about the pacing itself. In the end, I was pretty successful with how I paced my marathon. The fastest pace I had when running 1K was 3:58, but this was the first kilometer. I started a little bit later in the group, and therefore I had to make up some places to really settle in a good group. The next kilometer was 4:09, 4:16, 4:11, 4:22, and so on and so forth. Each kilometer was somewhere between 4:06 and 4:23, on the exception of one where I had cramps, which I ran in 4:34. The gear I was using at the marathon itself was also something I was very familiar with. It was just a tank top from Nike, some Nike shorts, and my trusted Vaporflies. All in all, very good marathon experience. The day after, however, oh my gosh, felt like I was hit by a truck. It took me about 4 days to feel somewhat recovered before I could walk properly again, ride a bicycle properly again. And it's been more than a week now, and I did my first run again after the marathon, and I still feel like I haven't fully recovered. The muscles are very sore still, they feel like cramping up very easily, so I can't do any pace or tempo work. It's still all really recovery. If you have any tips for more recovery, let me know, because I was a train wreck after the marathon. What I know might help are some compression socks and some compression sleeves. I wasn't sore in my arms, but my legs definitely were, so compression socks might actually do the trick. I'll link the video also in a pop-out in this video, so you can go and check it out. Performance-wise, I did not choose to use them at the marathon, but I think they can be an incredible option for your recovery. So if you have multiple events, seriously do consider those compression socks or compression sleeves. If you have a goal of running a sub-3 hour marathon, what I would advise is really know what pace you'll need to run at. Sub-3 hours is 4:15 minutes per kilometer. Train that pace. Make that pace consistent in your training. It will help you out in the marathon itself. Make sure you can get comfortable in that pace, because you'll be running it for 42 kilometers, so you should have trained this beforehand. Also, always keep up some speed work and try to build as much volume as you can. All right, so we did it. We ran the marathon in under 3 hours. So what's next? Running the marathon in under 3 hours was like a life goal for me. I did it at my first attempt, so I'm obviously thrilled to have done it that way. But we always want to look out for the next thing. We had a week to enjoy what we accomplished, but now it's already time to set out new goals. Probably the next event in which I really want to race will be the Antwerp 10 miles, which is a race in my hometown, which I also did this year. And I really want to break the 1 hour at the 10 miles. So that's probably what we'll be training for in the coming weeks and months. Let me know what you're training for. I'd love to hear your thoughts on whatever you're doing. Keep working, keep training, keep enjoying, and I'd love to hear from you guys. If you like this content, like the video, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!